I'm 86 years old, and one day I realized something that hit harder than any financial loss I've ever experienced. My own children had forgotten me. Not completely, not in a dramatic movie way. They still existed. They still had my number. But weeks turned into months, and months turned into silence. No calls, no visits, no "how are you, Dad?" And that silence taught me something about money, something I wish I had understood when I was 30, because here's the truth. Nobody tells you you can spend your whole life building wealth for people who won't even remember to call you. I wasn't always alone. I built everything from nothing. I worked 14-hour days. I saved every rupee I could. I skipped vacations, skipped comfort, skipped life, because I believed I was doing it for my family. For my kids, I used to say. Every extra shift, every late night, every investment I made, it was all for them. I bought property instead of pleasures. I invested instead of spending. I said no to myself so I could say yes to their future. And on paper, I won. I had multiple properties, a strong bank balance, investments that kept growing, passive income, financial security, everything people dream of. But one day, sitting alone in a big quiet house, I asked myself a question that shook me. If I did all this for them, why am I alone now? And that's when I realized something dangerous. I built wealth, but I didn't build a life. You see, money is powerful. It gives you options, freedom, security, respect. But if you don't understand how to use it, it can quietly take everything from you. I made a mistake most people make. I thought money was love. I thought providing financially was enough. I thought if I left behind enough wealth, my children would always stay close. But money doesn't guarantee loyalty. It doesn't guarantee time. And it definitely doesn't guarantee love. And here's where it gets even deeper. The more I gave, the more they expected. At first it was small things, school fees, clothes, gadgets. Then it became bigger, cars, business help, house down payments. And every time they asked, I said yes, because I told myself that's what a good father does. But I never asked them for anything in return. Not time, not respect, not even a simple phone call. I trained them, without realizing it, that I was just a provider, not a person, not someone with needs, just a bank. And banks don't get visited, they get used. That realization broke me, but it also woke me up, because at 86 I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. I had to make a decision. Was I going to spend the rest of my life waiting, or was I going to take control? And that's when I did something most people are too afraid to do. I changed how I used my money, not to impress others, not to leave behind more wealth, but to finally live. The first thing I did was simple, but powerful. I stopped giving money without purpose. No more random support. No more emotional spending. No more trying to buy connection. Because here's the truth. If someone only shows up when money is involved, they're not showing up for you. They're showing up for what you have. And once I stopped, something interesting happened. The calls became even less frequent. And that hurt, but it also confirmed something important. I wasn't losing relationships. I was revealing the truth about them, and once you see the truth, you can finally make smart decisions, financial decisions, and life decisions. Then I did something that completely changed my mindset. I started spending money on myself for the first time in my life at 86. Sounds crazy, right? But let me tell you, it was the best financial decision I ever made. I traveled, Not far, but enough to feel alive. I upgraded my living space, made it comfortable, peaceful. I hired help, not because I couldn't survive without it, but because I deserved ease. I started eating better, living better, thinking better, and something shifted inside me. I stopped feeling like I was waiting for life to end and started feeling like I was still living it. You see, financial freedom isn't just about having money. It's about having control over how you use it. Most people spend their youth chasing money and their old age wishing they had spent it differently. I refuse to be one of them anymore. Then came the biggest decision, the one that shocked everyone. I restructured my wealth. Instead of leaving everything blindly to my children, I made a plan that reflected reality, not emotion, reality. I allocated some for them, yes, but I also set aside a significant portion for causes I believed in: education, healthcare, community. Why? Because I realized something powerful. If your money can't create value while you're alive, it won't create meaning after you're gone. Money needs direction. Without it, it just disappears. And here's the part no one talks about. When people realized I wasn't just going to hand everything over, suddenly they remembered me. Calls started coming in again. Messages, visits. Dad, how are you? And for a moment, I almost believed it. But this time, I saw it clearly. Money had not brought them back. Control had. The moment I took control of my wealth, I took back my value. And that's a lesson you need to understand early. If you don't control your money, it will control your relationships. And when money controls relationships, they become transactions, not connections. Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me when I was young. Don't build your life around being needed financially. Build your life around being respected personally. Because one day your money may not matter, but how people feel about you will. I spent decades increasing my net worth, but I never worked on my life worth. And that imbalance cost me more than any bad investment ever could. Now don't misunderstand me. Money is important, very important. You should invest, you should save, you should build assets, you should aim for financial freedom, but not at the cost of your entire life, not at the cost of your identity, not at the cost of your relationships. Because if you sacrifice everything for money, you might end up with money and nothing else. And that's not success. That's a well-funded failure. I started thinking differently. Instead of asking, how much can I leave behind? I started asking, how well can I live right now? And that question changed everything. I became more intentional. Every rupee I spent had meaning. Every investment had purpose. Every decision had clarity. I wasn't just managing money anymore. I was designing my life. And here's something surprising. I felt richer, with less focus on accumulating, because true wealth isn't just measured in numbers. It's measured in peace, in freedom, in how you feel when you wake up in the morning, in whether your life feels like yours or like a responsibility you never signed up for. At 86, I finally understood what financial freedom really means. It's not about retiring early. It's not about luxury cars or big houses. It's about having the power to choose your life without fear. And I had that power all along. I just used it the wrong way. I used money to support others, but never to support myself. I used money to build a future, but forgot to live in the present. And that's a mistake I don't want you to make, because you still have time. Time to invest wisely. Time to build real wealth. time to create income streams, time to grow, but more importantly, time to live, time to enjoy, time to connect. Don't wait until you're 86 to realize that money is a tool, not a purpose. Don't spend your entire life preparing for a future you may not even experience the way you imagine. Balance it. Build wealth, but also build memories. Grow your assets, but also grow your life. Secure your future, but don't ignore your present. And most importantly, don't try to buy love with money, because real relationships don't need financial support to survive. They need time, attention, presence, something money can never replace. Today, I still sit in the same house, but it doesn't feel empty anymore, because I'm not waiting for someone to fill it. I filled it myself, with peace, with purpose, with control. And if there's one thing I want you to take from my story, it's this. Don't just chase money. Make sure it's leading you somewhere worth going, because at the end of your life, your bank balance will tell one story, but your life will tell another. Make sure both are worth listening to.